Today's live is called Push the Good Man Away, What Should I Do? Alright, so I was talking to one of my friends and she asked me this question. She told me the backstory and whatnot and was wondering what I'd get do and, my input. So I asked her some questions about, the relationship and whatnot. And she was saying that basically they were been together for about 2.5 years, and she got to a point where everything he was doing was annoying her. She just felt like he wasn't doing enough, and with Valentine's Day coming up, he didn't seem like he had anything planned, and so she left him about 3 weeks ago or so. And now, with Valentine's Day being today, she's sitting with nobody. And she reached out to him Friday, Friday or Thursday. He didn't say anything Thursday, so she called him Friday. And he said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I've moved on. I'm in a new relationship, and please don't call back." Yeah. And there were some other details, and I tried to get those questions answered for me to be able to reply to her and give her some advice. But honestly, it was kind of like pulling teeth. And, with today's modern woman and just trying to communicate with women, you kind of have to walk on eggshells with them. Not because I'm afraid to say what I want. That's definitely not it. More so, if I'm not careful about how I approach it, she'll probably, just be hesitant to actually be open about what's going on. Well, fortunately, she actually said he was a good man. After she left, she said she's been on several dates and whatnot, but all of them have been just situationships, hookups, and none of these men were talking about having a relationship. She said that none of the men have ever taken her out. It's kind of been like a let's meet at your house kind of thing. She said that two of them are married, right? Because this was 2 weeks ago. She says that she found herself in a position where it didn't seem like any man was in a situation where they would just want to be with her. They definitely weren't taking her out. And now she feels kind of stupid. Well, honestly, there's not too much to say, because it's really rare when men leave. And then two, she's reached out and the man said that he was in a new relationship and to be, basically he said don't contact her again. And that whole situation, that segment right there is hard, because I've gone through this so many times I can't even count anymore. When a woman leaves and you try to communicate, make some work, try to get some understanding, try to work things out, and they get very cold, and then they hit you with they don't want to talk to you no anymore. Then you have to kind of deal with it. So that is very hard when that happens, because when relationships end, one person is usually on a high. Both of you on a high, but it's a different kind of high. So one person's on a high of pursuing, and depending on the type of relationship it was, that can be extreme high, because believe it or not, in the world of dating, you never know who you're working with, and you could be in a relationship with somebody for years and not realize that person's a narcissist. And when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, or sometimes in a relationship, when people want to end it, some people aren't strong enough to just end it. Some people walk out and go do what they need to do, and some people just don't want to be the blame of the end of the relationship. So what they'll do is they'll sit in the relationship and make the relationship miserable. They'll be cold to you. They won't talk to you. Constantly disgruntled. You just don't know what's going on. So there are so many different ways relationship end, and when it comes to stuff like that, or like a so-called narcissist situation, whoever is being dumped or left will tend to be on this high of pursuing, because they've been, especially in a situation with narcissists, where it's been like months, sometimes years, where they've been trying to fix and pour into a relationship, trying to get the other person to be happy again, or get to a place where they used to be. So then when that person leaves, they just find themselves in a situation where they're still trying to fix something that's not there. Because what a lot of people do, women do, is that they'll be in a relationship and then they'll emotionally detach. They've already moved on. Only reason why their physical being is there is because they haven't found the person to monkey branch to. But they loved you, or they still may love you, but they've moved on. They think that you're not the best candidate. Whatever situation, the green is a lot of people, you know, women think that the grass is greener, and then you look over the fence and there's not even any grass. But yeah, so that'll happen. So I understand how she's feeling with the whole, like, okay, dang, you reach out and then boom, he's already gone, you know. And I think that's extremely lucky for him. Extremely lucky for him. And I told her, hey, it's very hard for a guy to get a girl. So if he says he's in a new relationship, leave him alone. Just go ahead and do that to respect him. You know, do that, leave him alone, respect him, and see if the relationship can flourish. You know, because on her end, she said that she's gone out on like 15, 20 dates. You know, he's probably gone on maybe like 2 or 3, and just happens one of them was lucky. So I know for me, I usually can attract maybe 2 girls a month, and that's working hard. You know, that's like taking my shot at Walmart and I usually get the, oh, I have a boyfriend, I'm married. Anyway, so moving the conversation along, there's really nothing you can do in this situation. The number one thing you can do is no contact. But no contact is usually something that he can do towards you, where he stops communicating with you. And then once you run around the world and come back, you realize, oh, I'm like, but you're the one who messed up. So the no contact is like, you want to no contact him, but you left him. Anybody in the situation, the dumpy or dumper, they can both do no contact. Usually women will do the no contact if they left you, because they're on to bigger, better things. They don't need you. So they are in a way doing no contact. So that's why no contact comes from the defensive position. So when somebody leaves you, you actively do no contact because you don't want to be the one running after them, reaching out to them, and so on and so forth. Which is extremely difficult to do when your heart is broken and your mind is shattered. You just gotta get a grip of yourself, and that's extremely, extremely hard to do. Okay, well, anyways, well, that's the only thing you can do. You can do no contact. So don't text. He says leave you alone. Cool. Don't text him anymore. Don't call him. Don't watch his stories. If you're, I told her, look, you're kind of big. Lose weight. If you felt like you were obnoxious in a relationship or you were overbearing, you gotta work on that, because men, a piece of mind is better than a piece of behind, you know? So I don't want to be in a relationship where I go out, right, because I'm coming home now from work, and I've done yes sir, yes ma'am, yes sir, yes ma'am. Like today we had a birthday dinner, or birthday like lunch, and some people from HR came down to the lab. They said they were gonna start from here and then ask everybody else, and if nobody replies, then they'll send an email out. And so me and a girl, and maybe there was one more guy, and that guy in the room, we're like looking at each other like, what's going on? So they said that apparently somebody grabbed 2 big bags of chips, you know, from Chipotle, you know, they give the big bags of chips. Apparently somebody grabbed 2 big bags of chips and took it to go, you know? So basically, you know, if you turn yourself in now, right? Because I was like, yeah, you come in, you get your food, like it's free, but don't grab 2 giant big bags of chips and go, you know? So I know I didn't do it. And then after they gave the little announcement, they moved on to whatever department they were going to outside the engineering department. And the girl in front of me, the lady in front of me, she goes, you know, she knows who it is. So she tells me who did it, which was one of our peers. And you know, just going through this nonsense, right? It's like, so wait, somebody's about to be fired for a bag of chips. So you go through all that and you don't want to come home. You don't want to come home. And then this woman who you say you love just doesn't want to be happy. From personal experience, 2021, January 1st, 2021, New Year's, I had a devastating car accident. I was coming home from work. I work 100 hours a week, guys. I was coming home from work and it's raining and it's foggy. New Year's. It's about 5:30, it's 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning. And I get hit by a man doing 115. That's what all of the eyewitnesses say. I'm doing 60. I'm doing 55 usually. Like right now I'm doing 62. But I'm doing 55, 60. And I remember a car going past me just whoop. And then moments later, I'm spinning, you know? So apparently 2 guys were racing. Well, once everything's said and done, luckily I didn't die. Obviously I'm here, you know? And car accidents are very scary because my whole body cramped. Like I went into it's almost like my body seized. I was cramping. Like I had to unglue myself from the steering wheel. Well, so I'm talking to the witnesses and the guy, and they're like, you could have killed somebody. I was like, I don't care about his life. It's a Spanish dude. It doesn't really mean anything, right? Everybody have car accidents. So he said, I don't care about his. So I'm like, you said you don't care about my life. He's like, yeah, fuck your life. It's like, fuck my life. Oh, I was about to, it's after work. I've got the African slippers on, you know. I'm not in the mood right now at all. This man just hit me racing another man doing 115 miles per hour. Okay, and then what's crazy is, so my Mustang it's not a heavy sports car, but it still has a lot of body. So only the back was torn up. But his car was caved in. And this man had in his car a boy that was like 6 years old, maybe. He came up to my knees. And then he had his wife, and she was very pregnant. We're talking about 7 months pregnant. She was, like, she had her hand on her belly. Well, all that said and done, you know, I get home. I was able to drive my car back home. My exhaust system and everything was just dragging. So I was able to get back home because I was only 10, 15 minutes away from home. I only did like maybe 30 miles per hour to get home. And when I walk into the house, my ex-girlfriend, I said, good morning. Hey, good morning. How are you? She goes, I'm like, okay. You know, like, why is she upset at like 6 a.m., 6:30, 7? It's probably 7 now because of the car accident, right? So why are you so angry at 7 a.m.? It's like, you know, I can't even talk to her. So I sit down, and then right back then, I had set up 2 TVs so we can play video games together. So I sit down and I play video games with her. You know, I got my TV, she got her TV. So we play on the same team, Apex Legends. And she loves that game. I love that game too. Playing, you know, just spending time with her. And then in between games, I posted what happened to me. Well, after like an hour, remember, I had just worked 100 hours that week. So after an hour, I'm like, hey babe, you know, I love you. I hope everything's good. She's like, yeah, everything's cool. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go take a nap, but I'll see you in like a few hours, okay? She's like, all right. Literally 20 minutes later, she like slams open the door. She's like, you had a car accident, you didn't tell me? You don't think I care? You don't think I care? And I'm like, I know you care, but when I came home, you were upset. or you didn't seem happy, or you weren't talking. So I didn't want to add on to that. You know, I posted on Facebook and posted to my family chat on Facebook, you know. And I said I didn't want to add on. I was trying to figure out what's going on with you. I didn't know yet your sister was gonna snitch on me. Her sister is on Facebook, but she doesn't use Facebook. She has a Facebook, and we used to message using Messenger, but she actually doesn't. Her Facebook isn't set up, so it's not like I meant to put it on Facebook to slight her. If I knew she used it actively, I would tell her, but she didn't use it, so I just put it on there. You know, it would be like me putting something on a group text. I didn't know that her sister would see my posts, and then do that. I want to move on with that sister conversation, because the next advice I give you is, when you get in another relationship, the next advice I give her was that it wasn't this in order. When you're in the next relationship, you need to be mindful of the people you invite into your relationship, because that's one of the things she talked about. She was talking about how people were giving her advice, saying, "Oh, wait, he's not doing anything for you for Valentine's Day," or "What is he doing for Valentine's Day?" My ex and I remember her and I, that last year we were together, her mom asked, you know, what we were doing for Valentine's Day. And so I was like, they were like on the phone for like a good hour. And so when I heard that, you know, I walked away and stood to the door, like the outside door. And I was like, "Hey, Mira," whoosh. I don't want to say her name, but I stopped saying, like, that's not her name. It's longer, but I want to say it. But I said her name. I'm like, "Hey, I'm home." And then I was like, "Hey, I got reservations for us at Root Chris. You know, I'd love to take you out. I'd love for us to go get something to eat." You know, I'm just saying this loud enough so that her mom can hear us on the phone. And so, because me and her we really did like each other. Her and I were very much in love with each other. And so she caught on, and so she was like, "Oh yeah, at 7:30, and yeah, I got my dress, and da 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 da." So, you know, we did this, you know, because her mom was talking about, "Oh, where's he taking you? What did he get you? Da 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 da." You know? And so we did this for like 5 minutes, and then we were like, "Okay, we gotta go. We got our reservation." And then once we get off the phone, we were like, "Oh yeah, so by the way, you still want sweet potatoes?" We went upstairs, cooked up some sweet potatoes, cooked up some chicken. One of the things I loved is she made like this like Parmesan cheese croissant chicken thing, where you basically cut up chicken and cheese and put it in a setter with cream cheese, and you just wrap it with I forget the bread, croissant bread. And you know, when her mom would hear stuff like this, like that's the kind of stuff I like, her mom would be all like, "That's so simple. He doesn't have you cooking da 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 da." He's like, no, he likes this and like that. So I never really put in a lot of pressure on her, which is so crazy, because I saw a movie earlier last week, and it made me cry so bad, because this man and woman have been friends for years, and she was getting married, and so she would cook for the guy she was supposed to marry, and then he, in one situation, started screaming and said, "Wow, you just poured all the salt in the house into this food," you know? And then later when she cooked again, her friend, him, the guy, the man, like her childhood friend, is eating and saying, "This is the best soup I've ever had." Then her mom runs out the house screaming like, "Hey, there's too much pepper in this food." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Is there?" She's like, "Yeah, you gotta chill out with that." Then she goes back in the house, and then when she goes back in the house, you know, her and her friend are sitting there eating. She eats the food she cooked, and she spits it out, crying like, "Whoa, there's too much pepper in this. Why didn't you tell me?" And then the guy says, "No, this food is awesome." Moral of the story being that no matter how she prepared that food, he loved it. He didn't complain. Same. I enjoy cooking with that girl, and I enjoy whatever she made. I didn't complain. And she would start up food for me, and because back then she was in the police academy. She would start up school. She was always tired after work, so she start cooking food for me. Fall asleep. I come home from work and finish cooking it. And several times she'd wake up like, whoa, I think the house is burning down, because I put food in. I don't know how long I've been asleep. And I would start laughing. And I'd be like, oh, I finished it. Let me go grab it for you. And I'll bring the food and everything's prepared. And she loved that. So that's what you need to do in relationships. That's kind of way you need to work together. Don't invite the whole world to your relationship. But at the same time, okay, love is blind, but the neighbors aren't. Love is blind, but the neighbors aren't. So don't invite the whole world to your relationship, but still understand that the neighbors aren't blind. The neighbors can ruin your relationship. So it's okay to lie in order to protect your relationship. It's okay to deceive people as long as you're doing it for the good of your relationship. If you don't have the strength to tell your mama or your daddy how it is, then do what you need to do to keep everybody happy. But don't do it at the demise of your relationship. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to be sitting on Valentine's Day alone. That's why this woman got complacent and ruined her relationship. Now she's sitting alone on Valentine's Day alone. She's sitting on Valentine's Day alone. And that relationship I had with that woman was one of the most amazing and sincere relationships I've ever had. And I was over there trying to play politics with my family, trying to get everybody to integrate perfectly. And there's more to it, and now if I had a chance, I wouldn't ask nobody for permission. I would not think twice. Like, hey, that's my wife. Instead of, after she left, everybody's like, whoa, you're mourning her like she died. Wow. Like, wow, that really affected you. Wow. Man, shut up. I knew this. I knew how much I cared about her. But I'm over here trying to make peace and make people work that at the demise and just hurting my relationship. So it's very unfortunate. It's very, very sad and unfortunate. So the advice also with the neighbors aren't blind. Love is blind, but the neighbors aren't. There is this saying that Igbos like to say. We like to say that. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. Women are like mangoes, you see. Some men are waiting for them to ripe, while others are eating them with salt and pepper. Women are like mangoes. Some men are waiting for them to ripe, while other men are eating them right now with salt and pepper. The next thing is, no matter how beautiful your woman is, you need to go see the mama. If the mama is shaped like a sack of potatoes, come on. If the mama is shaped like a sack of potatoes, your girlfriend, your wife will eventually become, bam, a sack of potatoes. Okay. The last one, as in go see how the mama behaves. Go see what the mama's all about. Are y'all crossing? Cause it's wild, like the school bus what y'all doing? The school bus is on with the stop sign. When that happens, everybody's supposed to stop on both sides of the street. And these guys are still moving. Now, y'all supposed to stop. On my side and their side, the stop sign is supposed to be on. I'm pretty sure. Because these guys almost hit this two people trying to cross because they don't want to stop. Just because the school bus is on that side doesn't mean you don't stop. Well, the school bus lady just told me to go, so maybe it's different up here in Maryland. In Alabama, you stop. Anyways, so look, I just don't want to get that 750 ticket and be on ESPN or something. Anyways, Fox 6 News. Is it Fox 5 up here? In Alabama, it's Fox 6. So, anyways, the last one is what's behind is two people are behind a failed relationship, a failed marriage. Two people are behind a failed marriage. No matter where, no matter the relationship, there's always two people behind a failed marriage. It is always the wife and her mother. Because you would think it's wife and husband, right? No, it's always the wife and her mother. So as a man, as a husband, you need to learn how to be democratic. We'll call it democratic with the mom. Like once you get in that relationship and you go, you see the mom, and you're like, okay, she's not a sack of potatoes, she's more like a sack of onions. Or whatever sack, she's more like a sack of sweet potatoes. Let's say she's not a sack of potatoes, but she is a sack of sweet potatoes, but it's sweet. And I love sweet potatoes, and I love sweet potato fries. So I'm gonna work with it. Her mom built like a sack of sweet potato fries. We had a lot in common, but she just didn't like me because she didn't want to like me. Which is crazy because we had many things in common. Even the way our relationship with her daughter were very similar. She basically found a man who resembled her mom, but her mom did not want to like me. Anyways, so once you find a woman and you look at her mom, then you need to really work hard to try to make her mom happy, you know? So basically with my friend, because I'm home, guys, and I want to garden. With my friend, you could try to no contact, but I would just move on and go to the gym, work on your mouth. She has a smart mouth. Work on being nice, work on being pleasant. I told her, if you have a confrontation with you and your man, you need to learn how to be quiet and walk away. Don't walk away in a disrespectful way. Be quiet and back down. Don't get in his face like a man, bulk up like a man, and then be like, oh my God, he hit me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be surprised and act brand new when you talk to a man and call him out his name and all sorts of different things, thinking he's about to just be quiet and just walk away. No, you are supposed to be quiet and walk away. If you confront your man and you always making him your B word, making him your dog, like, you know, B word, B-I-T-C-H, then why are you with him? Or do you just don't? So, which is crazy because a lot of women talk about they want a strong masculine man. And then once they get that strong masculine 6'8" man, then they expect her, the 5 foot tall girl, to just walk all over him, to just come and spank him, to just do whatever they want to do to him. It don't make no sense. It's delusional. So I told her, you know, make sure you need work in your mouth. I'm being very direct to her, and she's being receptive. So that's a good. But I've seen signs of when she doesn't, you know, what happens when she doesn't want to be receptive. Let's just leave it like that. So she's being receptive today, but I know how she is behind closed doors. Or when she really wants to show who she is. So I told her, you gotta work on these things, else you're gonna have a hard time. And it's not hard for a girl to get a date. So you need to date intentionally. So those are the kind of things I give her advice. And you need to have your father in the picture. Women, you can't find a guy, start dating him for 5 years and then turn around and then introduce him to your dad, because you're no longer introducing to your dad for permission. You're just introducing him for opinion. And then you get pregnant by this man, you know, then you want other people to clean up your mess, including your dad. And I'm not the last generation of men. I'm gonna straight up walk away from you if you mess up your life like that. If you see a man, he approach you, whatever, and y'all like each other, you really need to be putting me in the picture as soon as possible. Don't let me find out 2-3 years from now, or you're gonna be by yourself and out of my will. Literally. I'll write you out of my will. And those are the kind of things that men need to start doing to get their family to start behaving. You can't just do what you think you want to do just because we live in America. So if you want to follow and run around with a man, and now you got 2-3 different babies by 2-3 different baby daddies, that is not my problem. That is not my problem. You want to live outside of nature. You want to live outside my rules. If you are living in my house, you got to go. You got to go. You got to get up out of here. You got to get up out of here. Because I don't care if you got, that's my grandchild. That grandchild is not going to represent me the way I want my grandchildren to represent my legacy. So you got to go until you figure that situation out. Right? Boom. And once we start behaving that way and really keeping our children accountable in the future, right? Then they have no choice but to straighten up, but to act appropriately. But when you always give somebody, especially women, somewhere they can run to after messing up their whole life and hide behind somebody, when do you think they're going to straighten up? Who's going to keep them accountable? For men, they'll be in jail. And then for women, they'll have 2-3 babies by 2-3 baby daddies, you know? So that'll make sense. And I told her, oh, the last thing, then I'm going to get out of here. I told her the last thing you need to be thinking about is Valentine's Day. What does Valentine's Day have to do? What does Valentine's Day have to do? You didn't create this, holiday. And when we're dead and gone, it'll still be going on. Valentine's Day has nothing to do with your happiness and your whatever. If it took Valentine's Day for you to realize that you should be with a man, then you really don't need to be in a relationship. Because you just want him back just so that you can put him on Instagram. So you need to really leave him alone. And that's what I told her. You need to leave him alone. Hopefully the woman he has now been able to convince to invest in him will treat him much better than you did. And so that's it. I'm gonna go garden, but hopefully the audio is better today. What I did was I turned off the Bluetooth and everything, so this should not have been connected to my car. There shouldn't be any mute or whatever. You guys should have been able to hear me. And I'm gonna get out of here and go garden. So I hope everybody has a good day and happy Valentine's Day.